Hello and welcome back to your 9-day Agape Intelligence AI Intensive. And you are on day 4. You are halfway there. Yeah! Woohoo! You've been practicing, right? You've been chillaxing in between. You've been working your challenges every day and using your exercises every day. I know you have because you guys are so good. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about some concepts so that we kind of are on the same page. AI deals more with integrity, what you choose or choose not to do, rather than morality, because each person has a different perception of what is right to do or what's wrong to do. And sometimes people's morality can be used, and society has done this, to decide who's worthy, to judge who's worthy based on politics, gender, creed, diversity, race, civil rights of others. Diversity of thought, as far as AI is concerned, is so imperative. So we want to make sure that we're working together to support each other as human beings and people and building great and wonderful societies. Just a bit of a review. Feelings and emotions are not necessarily good or bad, they just are. They're not necessarily right or wrong, they just are. And they're that individual's experience. And this doesn't make them fact, it just makes it that person's perception, and that's okay. They rightfully 100% belong to the individual. They're yours, they're mine, and they're others. We have the right to feel and respectfully express if we agree or disagree. Another key concept that I really want for us to address, and this is an AI mode of thinking, is the difference between discernment and judgment. Because we do talk about this quite a bit, that in AI we use discernment versus judgment. And the difference is that discernment is about discovering the who, what, when, or where, which is an ability to verify feelings. Because remember, we said feelings and emotions are a perception, not necessarily fact. And verification is important. And it attaches no name calling. Whereas judgment requires little verification, just reasonable doubt, attaches name calling, branding, and categorization. And it really addresses more the why and how. Yeah. Let's now take what we've just learned about discernment and integrity and talk about again the need to be right and put it all in context. One of the reasons I created AI was because I needed a tool to be able to really work on my addictions to being right and being a victim and a rescuer and all these different things. So when we have to be right, remember we said we fear punishment or being judged as wrong. And we've been taught to be competitive. And needing to be right means that other people need to be wrong. When I'm deciding that, oh, okay, I'm the victim, well, that really means as an adult that I don't need to take responsibility for the choices that I made, my 100%, not the other person, what the other person is accountable for, what their choices and behavior were. Being a rescuer, it really doesn't allow me or you or others to be fully accountable for their feelings or choices either. And being a bully is truly an effect of needing again to be right, to win, to get my own way, and living in fear of not being enough. The shame or guilt can really stop us from being all that we are and expressing those gifts that are just a part of who we are. And don't forget cake and blame. Yeah, can't have cake without blame. Another key element of AI is discipline versus punishment. See, discipline is really something that requires relationships, clarification of expectations, that behaviors have consequences. We share our boundaries. We listen to others in a reasonable manner, and we investigate the facts of the matter. Whereas punishment doesn't require um, relationship. Consequences are usually given based on feelings or the desire to be right. The other person's boundaries don't really matter, and little or no investigation much of the time. Let's remember what happens when we feel unsafe physically in our heads. Um, Body regulation causes physical reactions such as tight stomach, racing heartbeat, clenched throat. Attuned communication, connective communication can cause a disconnect, can cause you to feel unsafe. Emotional balance, you can feel overwhelmed and you can have emotional shutdown. I've seen people go into a depressive state. And response flexibility. The psychology of reacting is in your mind is very much like a house, and thoughts and feelings and emotions and ego are permanent roommates in a way until you choose to educate yourself, practice new behaviors, and manage what you choose despite your roommates. So once you're educated, you can say, okay, I'm going to be moving, and so you're not going to have a key to where I live now, and when you come by, you're going to have to knock, and I'm going to have to decide whether I have time to spend working with you in this way or that way. And if what you're saying to me is that I'm really unsafe and I got to verify that, that's what you're telling your emotions and you're telling your thoughts. And it's really very effective. Now, remember our AI Jedi mind trick of listening as if you believe the other person is right. Because most people are listening um, because they want to they're waiting for a pause for the other person to take a breath so they can say how wrong they are. And because we're letting go of the need to be right and we are dealing in integrity, choosing what we do and what we don't do, despite what our emotions are, and that we are using discernment versus judgment, we have such an advantage in communication and connecting with other people now. Challenge and exercise time. One of my favorites, halt. Hungry, angry, anxious, lonely, tired. This is already waiting for you in a huge explanation on how you use halt on a daily basis. Thank you. I'm so excited for us. Oh my goodness. We are beyond halfway now.